Into the third round of the 2018 season, it has been confirmed that Mercedes have launched an official investigation, as well as the FIA, into the engine failure that caused Lewis Hamilton to DNF from the Brazilian Grand Prix. It has now been officially confirmed that Mercedes-Benz have actually had somebody else damage their own car. Someone has basically gone into the turbocharger and damaged that whilst Mercedes-Benz were not attending to their car. In doing that, they also managed to place a fake sensor into Mercedes-Benz's technical area to show the turbocharger would be fine and there'd be no problems, when in fact the turbocharger had massive problems. Mercedes-Benz are disgusted at what's happened to them, and they have launched an investigation to find out who has done this. The FIA has agreed to investigate fully into the matter of this engine failure and to find out who managed to get into Mercedes-Benz's area, change the turbocharger and also swap the sensors. Audi have also launched an official appeal against the court case date set for Thomas Fox. Currently the date is set to clash with the Monaco Grand Prix, which means that Thomas will not be able to take part in that Grand Prix. Audi say that it is critical that Thomas can try and make it to the Monaco Grand Prix, and they are now trying to place it so that it is slightly earlier than the Monaco Grand Prix or just after the Monaco Grand Prix. No matter what though, Audi have launched the appeal and they hope to try and find out in the next few rounds whether Thomas will be able to make it to the Monaco Grand Prix. Heading into the third round of the Formula 1 2018 season, there were some very interesting points to take out of practice. Audi seemed to be struggling for one-lap qualifying pace during practice. However, they did show some decent race pace. Tom said that the car just didn't seem fully hooked up when really going for it on the one-lap pace, but he said he felt extremely confident about his race pace. He said that this could be a damage limitation Grand Prix for himself and Audi, as if qualifying goes poorly, then it'll be an all-uphill battle in the race. Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, the title rivals of 2017, look set to do battle once again in the 2018 Baku Grand Prix, with both of them being extremely close in terms of their times in practice. Also for Renault, they showed very strong pace here at Baku with some very competitive qualifying and also race pace, so expect Renault to be a threat heading into this weekend. And that is it overall for practice. Hamilton and Vettel seem to be the fastest. Red Bull coming up behind with Ricciardo and Verstapppen with some work to do. Audi looking strong in race pace, but not in qualifying pace. So it's time to find out who got on pole for the Baku Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on guys, it is FoxyDude98 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on my channel. Today I'm here with round 3 of the F1 journey. Hope you guys are having an awesome day and hopefully you guys are ready for today's episode. And as you can see, I'm kicking things off here with my qualifying session, and I completely outbroke myself. Wasn't really paying attention on my outlap, and I went straight on and had to reverse myself back onto the track. So that was a positive start to the lap. But today we are here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and as you would have heard in the practice little Formula 1 news area, you would have seen that obviously we've been struggling a lot with qualifying here for this race, and it was something that I did actually notice. In terms of my race pace when going around and doing practice, I felt really good, but in terms of qualifying, sorry, and trying to hook a lap up, it wasn't really working for me, and I wasn't really quite sure how. I just don't think I was good enough, really, at getting the lap spot on. I knew where to do well, but I couldn't do it all in one lap. So as you can see, this is my final run. I'm currently in 15th place now, and as we make the long charge down the motorway of Narnia towards the start-finish line, we do come across, and I believe we're about 1.3 off a pole, and I was really unhappy with the lap, and I qualified down in 9th place. Which I was really annoyed about. If I hooked the lap up together, I probably could have got top 6, but as you can see, I'm 1.3 off. You can see the gap there, the Ferraris, Mercedes and Red Bull. Vettel with a commanding, actually, pole position there, 3/10 clear of everybody else. The gap between Hamilton and Ricciardo just 3/10, and unfortunately then all of us are left behind. But unfortunately, I wasn't really happy with where we qualified, but like I said, or like was said, I felt good in the race in terms of race pace, so that's where I'm confident, and that's what we're going to try and aim for in this Grand Prix. And as you can see, having a look at the race strategy, it's going to be a bog standard one stop, but weirdly, it's actually going to be a one stop from super soft to soft. Now, I didn't actually expect it to be from super soft to soft. I honestly thought it would be super soft to mediums, but the softs seem to look like they can easily get to the end, so I'll happily see them to the end. So that's what we're going to do. But as you can see, we're on to the formation lap now. Starting quite far down the order, but hopefully we can try and make up some places and have a strong and positive Grand Prix ahead of us. So as you can see, Hülkenberg is in 8th and Perez in front, and then we've got the Mercedes, Ferraris and Red Bulls that are in just their own little group there. So if we can try and get past Hülkenberg and Perez, we can then try and see what our true pace is like against the top 3 teams. As you can see, we've got 5 red lights, and it is lights out. We go here to start the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, round 3 of the F1 journey, and it's been a bad start actually for Daniel Ricciardo in 7th place. We go in towards turn 1, tried the switchback line, doesn't work for us here, and we stay in 9th place, but it's 3 wide between Hülkenberg, Perez and Ricciardo in towards turn 2. This time we try the switchback line, and this time we get a triple overtake in turn 2 with 1 switchback, and now we're alongside Carlos Sainz here, and we're trying to push Carlos Sainz, get in the slipstream of Verstappen. Can we go for another double overtake in towards him? We're going to try it now on Verstappen in towards turn 3. Can we make this move stick? No, Verstappen's still there. A little bit of contact between myself and Max, and I tried to do the switchback line, but I actually just basically messed it up and gave Verstappen the place back. But a fantastic start there from 9th on the grid. We've got a triple switchback into turn 2, and we're up into 5th place, and it's a really strong start past the drivers that I wanted to get past. And as we look further back, here's the fight now. We've got Sergio Perez and we've got Hülkenberg and Ricciardo side by side here in towards the castle section. Don't tell me they're going to go side by side into this castle. It's just not going to work out. Someone's going to have to give in, and it's a crash there between one of the Mercedes cars, and also Sergio Perez gets involved in the crash. Ricciardo's lost his front wing, and some weird suspension has come off there. Horrible stuff there. Carbon fibre flowing everywhere. It's an awful start for Daniel Ricciardo in the Mercedes for his team today. And as you can see, looking on board with us now, Verstappen in 4th. We're in 5th, chasing down Max now as we come down the long pitch straight here. Can we make a run on Verstappen now? We're in the slipstream. We've cracked the fuel the mixture up into rich mix. As you can see, Hamilton leads the way, Vettel in 3rd. We go down the inside of Verstappen, and we take ourselves up into, believe this is 5th place now in this Grand Prix. I might even be 4th actually, and that's a very good overtake now. As we can see here, Ocon under pressure now, and look at these gaggle of cars. They're all over the shop here. This is literally the entire field that was stuck behind the chaos into the castle are all now just stuck and trying to form positions. We're on board with Sorokin now. As you can see, we've got one of the Force Indies, the Williams McLaren, and they're just all side by side. Everyone getting involved in some action. Unfortunately, my teammate Nico Rosberg is also down in there as we go 3 wide in towards turn 3. Sorokin versus Stroll versus Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn comes out on top. Sorokin stays in behind. Then we've got Lance Stroll that drops out. Actually, Nico Rosberg getting the overtake, although I think Rosberg actually has struggled and he's lost the position. So weirdly, my teammate Rosberg is just, again, not really performing, and he's stuck in all this traffic while I'm up trying to fight and get the points for Audi. Rosberg just can't really seem to be not very good at the moment, and we go on to the end of that lap, and we've got Fernando Alonso catching and passing one of the Williams cars who is on the soft tyres doing a different strategy. But here you can see Stoffel Van Dorn coming out of nowhere, and down the inside Van Dorn now trying to nick a position off his teammate Alonso. Can Van Dorn get the overtake done on his senior partner in towards turn 2? Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be bravest? Alonso goes around the outside, but it's Van Dorn that sticks it out, and he's in front of Fernando Alonso. Beautiful overtake there from the Belgian, and now unfortunately for Fernando Alonso, he's going to have to sit back and basically wait a little bit longer as we ride on board now with myself here on the end of the 3rd lap. We've got Max Verstappen, unfortunately, that is basically right on the back of me, and he looks like he's ready to gain my position back that obviously I took from him. As you can see, we didn't get the best of run there for the final 2 corners, and now as you can see, Max is on the back of us, and on this long pit straight, we know how powerful that Ferrari is in a straight line, and of course, we haven't really got that slipstream of the Red Bull, and as you can see here, Verstappen absolutely flies past us. No chance I'm going to defend this one, but I am going to break it very late and hold it round the outside. Lovely bit of braking there. Lovely precision as well to get that move stuck on Max Verstappen. And as we look further back as well, we still got fights in the background, which is why we're going on to it. Sorokin now gets past Robert Kubica, and also Lance Stroll trying to get past Robert Kubica as well. And as you can see there, Kubica on a different strategy to everybody else. The 2 Williams cars fighting away as we go in towards turn 2. Lock up from Kubica and hits Stroll there. And unfortunately for Stroll, he has to basically sit back and stay behind the other teammate, for Stroll. He has to sit back and wait behind Kubica. Now, onto lap 4, I'm actually closing in on Pierre Gasly, but annoyingly, I just lost out in the final sector, just really poor. And now here comes Max Verstappen, and this time with the DRS wide open, he is literally going to absolutely fly past. And unfortunately, the camera angles aren't brilliant, so I tried to get the best I could here. But as you can see, Verstappen absolutely flies past, and at this stage in the race, I decided to go down the inside here and basically just still defend my position. There was nothing I was going to do there. As you can see, Pierre Gasly, though, not getting away from us, despite the fact we're fighting. We're 1.1 seconds back here on the end of the 5th lap. But once again, Max Verstappen is right behind me, and it looks like at the moment, me and Verstappen are just having an absolute ding-dong of a battle. And this is where I'm going to play things tactically. Verstappen here, basically, if I'm in the slipstream and I'm crank my car up into rich mix, I can do what Verstappen's doing right now and just fly past. But I just don't have that straight line speed when I'm not quite close enough to Gasly. So what am I going to do? Verstappen's quite fast at the moment, very quick. I'm going to let Verstappen go. I'm going to let him catch up to Gasly, and then when they're right behind each other, normally the AI cars tend to brake slightly earlier into corners just because it's how they work. And this now means that I'm going to try and get DRS, because I was a tenth of a second shy of Gasly. Well, I'm not going to be a tenth of a second shy of Verstappen when he's right behind Pierre Gasly. So here we go now. Verstappen here attacking Pierre Gasly on the pit straight now. Here comes Max. He's going to pull over to the inside line here. The Ferrari versus the Red Bull car. And behind, I'm also cranking the car into rich mix to try and close up to this fight as we go down the inside now with Max Verstappen. He goes for the overtake here on Pierre Gasly, and he makes it stick. Lovely overtake there from Verstappen, and you can see now that I am right behind this fight as I go down the inside of Pierre Gasly in towards turn 2, and I've got past the Red Bull there, and now it's unfortunately problems for Gasly as he's going to lose yet another place because Sainz now comes flying through with DRS, and he might even go for me here. He gets close. He's going to have a look here in towards turn 3. Backs out of it though, unfortunately, and we actually stay in front there of him for the time being. And as you can see, despite the fact that Verstappen literally flew away into the distance and overtook Pierre Gasly and I was dropping back, the pace came back to me again, and I'm right on Verstappen's tail. And this time, now because we've got rid of Verstappen out of the way, and we've only got Carlos Sainz behind us, because I do believe it's either Sainz or Gasly behind us, but one of the Red Bull cars has got an issue, and it's actually slowed down quite considerably. And as you can see here, that's the term of just raw speed that I have when I'm behind someone with slipstream and DRS. And as you can see, there it is. We're up into 3rd place, into the podium positions now in this Grand Prix, and that's Sebastian Vettel up ahead, the championship leader, who is currently sitting in 2nd place. So Hamilton still leads this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. On to lap 10 of the Grand Prix now, we're going to be coming in for our one and only pit stop of this Grand Prix. You can see that we've actually dropped Carlos Sainz, who might have actually overtaken Verstappen, I'm not sure, but it is Sainz that's behind us. So Pierre Gasly has actually had an issue with his car, which does mean, of course, that it's allowed us to pull away from him. So it's just me, Verstappen, and Sainz kind of in a fight of our own. But as you can see there, Hamilton pits, and I actually held up Vettel there, so sorry about that, Seb. But I've actually held up Sebastian coming into the pits, which isn't my problem, to be honest. I'm not really racing him, but unfortunately, I've been held for a very long time here. Horrible pit stop from Audi, and that's going to cost me awfully, as Carlos Sainz does actually jump me in the pits. I would have thought, actually, I'd actually get out in front of Carlos Sainz, but for some reason, the game just decided, no, you're going to come up behind Sainz. So annoyingly, yet again, it seems that it's become a very repetitive feature that in the pit stops, we're just losing out. And as you can see here, on lap 13, we've actually dropped down to 5th place because due to the problems that Audi have given me regarding my pit stop just being terrible, we have actually lost out to Max Verstappen as well. We're in the DRS range of Max Verstappen, but yeah, we're close. We have to try and close it back up. But on to lap 14, positive signs at the moment. The pace is still good. So on the soft tyres, we're still eligible to match the pace of what Max Verstappen and what Carlos Sainz can do. In terms of Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, unfortunately, I've got no answer to their pace. But in terms of Verstappen and also Sainz, I do have an answer for it. And as you can see now, this is pretty much what I'm just going to demonstrate here. This is a slipstream, rich mix, DRS, a very decent power unit in the back of this Audi car, and I'm just going to let the driving do the talking. Verstappen goes defensive in towards first corner, but we're going to dive it down the inside of Max Verstappen, and the battle between myself and Max continues onwards, and we get the move done on Max Verstappen. Lovely overtake. Now we can try and see if we can close it to the back of Carlos Sainz and try and take 3rd place back. But onto the end of lap 15, yeah, I've got more things to worry about than chasing after Carlos Sainz. I have a rampant Ferrari right up my backside, and Max Verstappen is not going to go away that easily. We've got some yellow flags, actually, down in towards this left and right-hander, so we're going to have to be careful here, as we can see now. It's one of the Mercedes cars. It's Ricciardo that's got a problem, actually, behind us there. Ricciardo with some sort of mechanical issue, and that's actually a slight blessing, because the yellow flags are out, which means Verstappen can't go for an overtake. Now we get into green flag zone. Now Verstappen's coming after me. Van Dorn is out of the race. I don't know why he's out of the race, but we're trying to defend for Verstappen. Verstapppen here, in towards the first corner, go late on the brakes, round the outside, overcook it on the exit, lose the back end slightly. Verstapppen coming back at me now. Here he comes, in towards turn 2, gonna have to go defensive, leave him some room on the outside line, tuck it very, very tight there, and we stay in front of Max for the time being. Very, very close racing there between myself and Max Verstappen as we come on towards lap 16 of the Grand Prix now, in towards the castle section, absolutely launching the car. I actually love driving from the castle section in this Grand Prix. It was so much fun as Ricciardo and Kubica are out of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and luckily I actually found out why. So the reason that Ricciardo was going slowly was because of a puncture, and Kubica just rammed him up the backside, and they're both out on the spot. So what was a pretty awful race for Ricciardo basically just got even worse with a broken front wing. And then he had to change his front wing, pretty much last. Then a puncture, didn't go wrong. But guess what's still going on? Me versus Verstappen. It's not over yet, and we have to defend once again from Max. And here he comes now, on towards the pit straight here. He's already pulled up alongside as we make the drag race now. Slipstream and DRS going to be enabled for Max. We're going to push him very tight here towards the pit lane, in fact. So I was very harsh on my defense there. I wanted to give him the tightest of squeezes possible, but that didn't work. So I'll just lunge up the inside instead, like I've done pretty much every single time. And Verstappen once again holds off and was still in P4 at the moment. But annoyingly, this is not helping my pursuit of Carlos Sainz. So you can see he's just up the road, just there, about 3 seconds back, 2.9 in fact. I am closing in on Sainz, but this battle with Verstappen just isn't helping my cause at the moment. And if there was no Max in the way, I probably may be able to cut down Sainz, but I can't because of what's going on here. But as you can see now, here comes Max Verstappen, and you know what's coming. He's just going to come and launch yet another attack on me. So as you can see, on towards the pit straight now, it depends on which side Max Verstappen's going to go on to. He's going to go for the inside line, very close in terms of the squeeze there. Verstappen makes the move stick, but we're going to go down the inside of Max Verstappen. We've actually outbroken ourselves here. We've gone in too deep now, lose the back end. A bit of contact there between myself and Verstappen as we come in towards the second corner now. Can we defend from Verstappen? Round the outside, launch it round. Lovely bit of defending there on the outside part. Yeah, unfortunately, into turn 1, I went way too deep, lost the back end, and unfortunately made contact with Verstappen. And I'll put my hands up. That was my fault. Just lost the rear end, trying to get back on track. Tyres were just a little bit dirty, and I hit Verstappen there. So I'll put my hands up and say that the contact there between me and Verstappen, that was my fault, unfortunately. But that hasn't stopped Max from getting close to me. And you can see now the gap between myself and Sainz is 5.1 seconds. So unfortunately now, we're looking to only fight for P4 in this Grand Prix. And again, Max Verstappen coming back again. Look at the cars just flying through there. Me and Verstappen just can't stop fighting today. And as we come towards the pit straight for yet another attack now, here comes Max Verstappen trying to see if he can find a way through. Blasts it through the pit straight there. Lovely camera shot. And Verstappen with the DRS wide open is going to go for it into turn 1, but he's just giving me the inside line. And I managed to learn from my previous mistake. And you can see that I got the braking point just right this time, rather than a little bit too late. But onto lap 25, you're probably getting a bit confused. How on earth have I closed 5 seconds to Carlos Sainz and I dropped Verstappen? Verstappen, I don't know why, just seems to be struggling. Carlos Sainz on the radio, Jeff told me that Sainz had a problem. So, for some reason, yet again, for Red Bull, both cars now have had an issue in this Grand Prix, and it cost Gasly so much time, and unfortunately, it might just cost Sainz a podium here, because now, onto lap 25, as I pretty much banged the wall there, we are now right behind him, and on towards the final lap of the Grand Prix, we're going to crank this car into rich mix. I have been putting the car into lean, because I have had to use a lot of fuel to defend against Max Verstappen, but now, we're on the offensive here. We can go for a podium place here now, with the pace really ranked up here as we now come up towards this pit straight, in towards the first corner. Can we make this move done on Sainz? Yes, we can. In towards the first corner, down the inside. Lovely overtake there. Up into third place and back onto the podium for this Baku Grand Prix. It has been a hectic race, and we're on to the last lap as well of this Grand Prix, and we've now got in front of Carlos Sainz, who unfortunately has had some sort of a problem. As you can see now, onto the last lap of the Grand Prix, onto the final part here, you can see Hamilton basically just showing off, setting the fastest lap of the race on the last lap of the Grand Prix. So fair play, Lewis Hamilton comes across the line to win his first race of the 2018 season. Sebastian Vettel, the championship leader, is going to extend his championship lead after starting 9th, having a lot of problems but having some superb action. Great racing. We're going to come across the line and take third place. Really, really happy with that one. And I'm just ecstatic with it. I had so much fun out there today. Verstappen, fair play, gave me an absolute run for my money. And I loved every bit of it. But as you can see, here is the the full race classification, Rosberg only managing to finish in 10th, so something needs to change for Nico Rosberg. But as you can see, scrolling through now, closer stuff for the Toro Rosso and the Williams to try and grab some points, and Hulkenberg getting some as well. But without further ado, let's move into the drivers and constructors standings for the end of the third round of the 2018 season. Taking a look then at the drivers standings for the third round of this championship, Sebastian Vettel still leads the championship. He now has 55 points in this championship lead, and he's actually extended his championship lead by just 3 points to myself, who am now on 50 points. Lewis Hamilton, after picking up his first one of the season, now jumps Max Verstapppen and is up to third in the championship, with Sainz following in behind. Ricciardo with a DNF fails to score any points, drops to 6th in the championship. Gasly picking up some points. The biggest gain is actually from Nico Hulkenberg. Now, Hulkenberg was 18th in the championship standings, and he managed to pick up 6 points after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which catapults him up to 9th. The Force Indias are 10th and 11th. Nico Rosberg, my teammate, only got 2 points at the moment. I think Audi probably going to have to start having words with Nico Rosberg's performance. Sorokin and Van Dorn failed to score points. Stroll, Hartley, Nico Carey, Kubica, Bottas and Pascal Wehrlein all still fail to score points and are yet to score in this 2018 season. Moving on then into the Constructors' Championship, and as you can see, the dominance of Ferrari is clearly showing. As you can see, they are on 98 points after just 3 rounds of this championship. They are flying away with this one, and you can see Mercedes-Benz are now their closest challengers on 65 points, still a long way off Ferrari's total. Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing have now jumped Audi to go into 3rd place, with Audi now in 4th. McLaren stay in 5th, with Renault jumping Force India into 6th place or 7th. And you can see Williams, Toro Rosso and BMW Sauber have all yet to score points. But guys, that is going to be it for the F1 Journey Round 3. If you guys have enjoyed it, feel free to click the like button. If you are new around here as well, feel free to click the subscription button. If we could hit maybe like 200 likes or something like that, that'd be an absolutely awesome target for the F1 Journey. But guys, that is it for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and be sure to tune in next week where we're going to find out some more information on this engine investigation regarding Mercedes-Benz. Hopefully we can find out maybe what would happen with the appeal regarding the court case with Audi. Maybe that will stall and go on for a few more weeks. And also we have a very interesting storyline that is going to develop, which I can't really say anything about because it's a spoiler. Yeah, hopefully you guys are excited, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care all, guys. Peace.